Okay, you're very welcome to this tutorial on printing in Excel, which is the bane of people's lives. So many often people will end up copying and pasting this into Word, type across the headings, sellotape them across the top, photocopy them, and really you don't have to do that. When you're doing printing in Word, you can do it from two locations. The first one up here is my page layout, okay, ribbon, and the other one is if I go to File, over here, and then down to Print. And this is what it looks like. Now, your exact settings here are probably going to vary depending on your printer. So, for example, here I've got options. Do I want to print on one side or both sides? Is it collated, portrait or landscape, size of the paper? Let me just go back to the size of the paper. Do you want to set the margins? And the very last one there, which we're going to look at in more detail, is the scaling. Okay. And the other place we look at it is in our page layout. And again, I can change the orientation. Here's it, the orientation, size, can set the print area, that which was not covered in the printing menu, breaks, background, print titles, which we're going to talk about later, and also this option here for scaling to fit. So if I come back here to my file and then go down to print, you can see here I have 3 columns, but when I look back in my document, you can see I actually have 4 columns. Okay, so let's see what happens if I send this to the printer without making any changes. Okay, so if I go here, and then if I go across down here at the bottom, there we go, 1 of 20, go across down here. Now you can see also I don't have any headings across the top, which is going to be something we need to deal with later on. And if you look here then, we're about, page 10 onwards, we have a breakaway republic. Okay. So there's 2 main ways you can set that. You can either do it here in your printing option, at the very bottom. Okay. And see basically here you have 4 options. Okay, so the first option is no scaling, which is what we've done. The second one we have here is fit sheet on one page. Yeah, that's great, but you need a microscope. All right. And then the third option says fit all columns on one page. And when you're printing, this is probably the best one to experiment on. Now, if I put this back to no scaling, and you'll see how I change that. If I go back up here to this one, you can see how I can change that on my page layout. So the place I change that from my page layout is I go to this bit here in the middle, and I just go height, and let's just change that to 1 page wide. Right. Now that will do exactly the same thing as I just did there with the printing. So you need to see what is the thing that works for you. And it's probably worthwhile experimenting with that until you see what you want. Now the other issue we had, if I go back here to my file and into my print, all right, is that I've got my headings across the top on the first page. And if you notice down here, this has actually gone down to 10 pages. Okay, and if I go across, you see, I should have sorted out my breakaway republic issue, about page 10. There we go, I'm fine. All right. But one of the issues I have here is that I don't have headings across the top. So to get that to do that, I need to do a thing called print titles, which I won't find here in print. But if I go back up here to this one, and then I click here on this option again under page layout, and I go to print titles. I then have this option here is under sheet, and then there's an option that says rows to repeat at top or columns to repeat at left. Okay, so the rows I want to repeat at the top is going to be my first column heading. Now, my preferred way to do this is to click into this box and then basically go over here to this one and just click over here on the row marker. And you see I get this little $1, $1. And if I go into print preview down here and go across, you can see I now have my headings across the top. Another option you might want to have, particularly if you have a file where you have the same names, for example, at the beginning, is if you go to print titles, and if you go to click into the one that says columns to repeat at left, which is down here, and again, I just prefer to select the column. So for example, I might just select column A here. And that means that will repeat on the left-hand side of every sheet that I want. Okay, and I'm just going to click OK on that one. Other option you have here, when I'm in this one, is if I want to insert a page number, I quite like to just go to print titles, and if you remember, everything is in here. Go to header, footer. So for example, header will appear at the top of the page, footer will appear at the bottom. And the easiest way to add a page number, for example, at the bottom, is just click here, and see here it gives you a number of different choices on it as well. And it can be quite useful maybe just to have the, if you want to put the name of the file so that you know where to find it later on. But that's the easiest way basically to add your page number. And again, I can go print preview. You see there it is at the bottom. See down there at the bottom. Whoops. That one there, how to print in Excel. Okay. And the last bit I want to show you here is I'm just going to come up here to my page layout. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the grid line. So you see what it looks like without grid lines. So remove this here in the print. And I just go here to File and then Print. You see here I don't have any grid lines on it. And then if I come back up here then to this one, go back to page layout again. And again, just put a tick in the box for print. And again, let's have a look at, go to File and Print. That can often be easier to read if you actually have grid lines on it. And it saves you the whole border thing as well. All right. So I hope you find this useful, and mind yourself and take care. Bye.